Welcome back to Justice, and time for the panel on this extremely busy night of news, so let's get right to it. Joining me now, GOPAC Chairman David Avella and Democratic strategist, also Fox News contributor Doug Schoen. All right, guys. Yeah. I'm not going to ask you what you thought because we'll waste too much time on it. Did Comey perjure himself?
We don't know. This has got a long way to go. This isn't over. It's a he said, she said case.
He said.
But yes, I'm sorry. Stand corrected on that. But the real question is, what are we going to learn from General Flynn, from Paul Manafort, Carter Page? Those are questions that weren't addressed. Tune in. We've got a long way to go.
Okay. So, what do you say to that?
Well, in typical Jim Comey fashion, he raised more questions about himself and about his motives. With all of that said, the sideshow is over, folks.
All right.
It is time to get working on the agenda for the American people. And let me say, as we start looking forward to the elections, Bernie Sanders said it well tonight. The current model and the current strategy of the Democratic Party is an absolute failure.
All right, let's talk about the fact that what you've got is... Now we know the president is not under investigation, something Jim Comey
wasn't under investigation.
Well, what? After the guy gets fired, a disgruntled employee says, "I'm gonna maneuver with my my Washington ways and get my best friend Bob Mueller to be special counsel. I'll link it to the time."
Point.
Oh, come on! You know that's disingenuous.
No,
the guy was the head of the FBI. What? The day after he got fired, he said, "Now I'm PO'd."
Well, he said he wanted to get a special prosecutor hired, and he succeeded.
Yeah. Well, why didn't he? Go ahead.
Let's go back here for a few months. This investigation started because somehow the Russians cost Hillary Clinton the election. We don't even talk about that anymore. The Democrats' total talking points now are not what this original investigation started as. That how did Hillary Clinton lose the election because the Russians somehow hacked into this? We don't even talk about that anymore.
But here's the thing. Why is it that the president was not under investigation? Comey wouldn't say it. Why is it that Comey says what Loretta Lynch tells him to say, which he knows is wrong? Why is it that Jim Comey then makes a decision that he's going to say he doesn't really know what misprision of a felony is, or whether or not he should report what he thinks is a crime? But when he leaves, he's disgruntled. It's crime now.
Look, there are real questions, as you've pointed out, about Comey, what he did, what he said, what he thought. There are real questions about not what the impact on the election was, but was there collusion? We don't know. It's still an open question. If I can finish.
Go ahead.
And there is a real larger issue, Jeanine, of what the impact on the president's agenda will be. And if there is a sideshow, as David was saying before, and this continues, as I believe it will be, the net losers will be the Republicans. The Democrats don't have an agenda. The only agenda is resist. This helps resist.
What is their agenda?
Republicans just this week in the House repealed Dodd-Frank. The president talked about infrastructure. Kellyanne mentioned a number of things at the top. Well, they don't have an agenda, but
their agenda is to destroy Donald Trump.
If Republicans continue to do things to make people economically and personally secure, and this election is about that message, we have a big day in 2018.
Okay, but see, here's the problem. If the Democrats are so focused on Russia, you know, because something happened, we now know there was no collusion with Donald Trump.
No, we don't know that.
Well, wait a minute. For 10 months. No, this isn't about Flynn.
Yes, it sure is.
What do you say to the fact that the president himself said, "I'll testify"?
Any
Jared
good
Kushner,
lawyer, Jeanine, and you are one, would not let him testify. Mark Kasowitz is brilliant.
Doesn't that tell you that he's willing to do it?
I hope he does.
Jared Kushner is willing to do it.
As a Democrat, I hope he doesn't. And as a lawyer, I hope he doesn't do it.
But then doesn't it tell you something that he's willing to do it?
I'm pleased he will. I would hope he doesn't.
And the Attorney General now. Jim Comey did a gut punch to Jeff Sessions and said,
he's in
wait a
perilous
minute.
shape.
But that's a bunch of hogwash. You know why?
He's in perilous shape?
No.
The president hasn't avowed that he's got his full confidence.
Why is Jeff Sessions willing to testify on Tuesday? Under oath.
Because he's got real issues to clear up about his meetings with the Russians, whether there was a third meeting, and I think he's trying to clear his name when he's really under a real cloud.
Why are these guys willing to testify if they're so bad?
They have nothing to hide. They're willing to testify.
Well, we'll see.
We need to get back to the agenda of the American people, which is keeping them economically and personally
But David,
secure.
real fast, doesn't it really aggravate you that we wasted all this time? We allowed the New York Times story to proliferate for months and months, that there was conversations between Russian intelligence and the team, when Comey knew it was a lie and he did nothing. That paradigm of honesty.
It sure can be frustrating, but not nearly as frustrating as seeing Americans suffer. And that's why the president, and that's why the Republican Congress need to get back to focusing on that and not worry about this sideshow.
This is politics, people. We have a long way to go, Jeanine, and a lot more evidence to hear.
And I'm waiting for the Martians to sit on the Supreme Court.
And Jeanine, I'll be there with you, waiting for the Martians. They may show up.
You never know.
You
David
never
and
know.
Bella, Doug Schoen, thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
Coming up, you've been waiting for it all night, and finally it's time. Street Justice is next. We'll be back in a moment.